70 years old. Those are things that you teach kids. You know, I'm teaching my 7-year-olds those things.
Right.
You know,
Melania is not now, or hasn't recently taken part in her husband's political events. It's not comfortable for her.
what's happening? This is not normal. I mean, it's not normal that I know that I'm smarter than the president.
The thing that got an enormous amount of media attention had to do with Melania Trump, the First Lady, and some video. Was this an actual slap?
Have you seen Wanda Sykes absolutely destroy Trump on TV last night? She didn't just roast him. She incinerated him with jokes so brutal even his loyal defenders went silent.
I think you're not a Trump fan then. You would say you're a Trump fan.
I am so not a Trump fan. He annoys me. His whole family annoys me, matter of fact.
The best part? Melania reportedly lost it after watching her husband get verbally demolished. Talk about an awkward dinner conversation at Mar-a-Lago. Trump's all-caps tweet storm that followed tells you everything you need to know about how badly Sykes got under his thin orange skin. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Wanda Sykes has been throwing shade at Trump for years, but last night she finally unleashed her full comedic arsenal on national television.
You know, it's like everyone's waiting for this moment for him to become presidential. Right. You know, they're like, oh, he has to learn how to control his emotions.
Her appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert started innocently enough. Colbert simply asked her opinion on Trump's latest legal troubles, and that's when the comedy flamethrower got switched to full blast. "I've been holding back," Sykes told the audience with that trademark smirk. But watching this man try to escape accountability for the 15th time while his supporters act like he's some kind of victim? I'm done being polite. What followed wasn't just another comedian taking pot shots at an easy target. This was a masterclass in political roasting. Sykes didn't go for the usual jokes about orange skin or weird hair. No, she went straight for the jugular with surgical precision.
Not gonna like work the rest of his body. He doesn't have that kind of discipline. So it'll just be a new face, same hair, and same big ass.
You know what Trump reminds me of? She asked before launching into a spot-on impression. He's like that kid in class who failed the test but somehow convinced half the students it was the teacher's fault. Her impression of Trump's rambling speech pattern was so accurate the audience nearly fell out of their chairs. I have the best grades, tremendous grades. Nobody has ever seen grades like mine. The teacher is nasty, very nasty woman. The studio audience, initially responding with polite chuckles, quickly escalated to full-throated laughter. By the time Sykes was 5 minutes into her routine, people were literally standing up. One guy in the front row was laughing so hard he started choking and needed water. What made Sykes' takedown particularly devastating was her methodical approach. First, she demolished his business reputation. This man has bankrupted casinos. Casinos. The only business where customers literally hand you their money for nothing in return. Then she moved on to his political career. He's like a toddler with nuclear codes who gets distracted by a shiny object. Except the shiny object is himself in any reflective surface. Her comedy didn't just land because she's funny, though she absolutely is, but because she's been perfecting her craft for decades. Sykes has multiple comedy specials under her belt and knows exactly how to structure a joke for maximum impact. She understands timing, delivery, and most importantly, she knows which buttons to push.
It's just mean. You know what it is? It's mean. Yes. Do I blame Donald Trump? Of course I do. He's made everybody mad. Everybody just angry.
Trump can't handle criticism from anyone but criticism from a black woman? His tiny hands start shaking so hard, he can't even tweet properly. Sykes quipped, referencing Trump's notorious sensitivity to criticism from women of color. Colbert himself was barely able to maintain his composure. Several times the camera caught him with his mouth hanging open or doubled over his desk. When Sykes finally paused for breath, Colbert attempted to ask a follow-up question but could barely get the words out. I don't think I've ever seen a presidential candidate dissected quite so thoroughly on this show," he managed to stammer, before Sykes jumped right back in. "Look, I'm not just saying this because I disagree with his politics," she continued. "I'm saying this as someone who's watched narcissism turn into authoritarianism in real time. It's not funny, Except that sometimes humor is the only way to process something so dangerous.
What's happening? This is not normal. I mean, it's not normal that I know that I'm smarter than the president.
The social media reaction was immediate and explosive. Within minutes, clips of Sykes' appearance were trending across all platforms. Celebrities and politicians were sharing the video with captions like, "She said what we've all been thinking," and "Wanda Sykes for press secretary." The most devastating part of her routine came when she exposed Trump's pattern of failed businesses while perfectly mimicking his speech patterns. "I had the best steaks, tremendous steaks, everybody says so. Then I had the best university, a beautiful university, the most beautiful. Then I had the best social media platform. Nobody's ever seen a platform like this. All bankrupt. But it wasn't my fault. It was the deep state, very deep, the deepest." The audience was practically on their feet at this point, giving her a standing ovation as she delivered one knockout punch after another. Political comedians are often accused of going for easy laughs, but what Sykes did was different. She used comedy to expose uncomfortable truths about a man who continues to shape American politics.
This Trump, man, you don't know. He'll probably do something like, like a mix of like Tom Brady and Ted Nugent. You don't know.
The audience was on their feet cheering for Wanda Sykes, but across Florida, tiny fingers were already drumming with rage. While people were still laughing at the comedy show, Trump was launching his own performance, a one-man tantrum spectacular that would make any 2-year-old proud. Within minutes of Sykes walking off stage, Trump's social media notifications started blowing up. His initial response on Truth Social tried to maintain some presidential dignity, or whatever passes for dignity in Trump's world. But as clips of Sykes' masterful takedown spread across the internet, his paper-thin composure crumbled faster than his Atlantic City casino empire.
What that means to you, what is not normal
Well,
to you?
it's not normal what's going on in the country.
I agree. We're on the same page here.
Let's look at the timeline of his digital meltdown. At 11:42 p.m., Trump posted a somewhat restrained critique. By midnight, we got our first all-caps appearance with "failing comedian" thrown in. By 1:15 a.m., his posts had devolved into a complete word salad of rage. Punctuation optional, coherence not included. Trump's posts got angrier and more frequent as the night progressed. It was like watching a psychological case study unfold in real time. He couldn't let it go, returning to attack Sykes again and again over several hours, each post more unhinged than the last.
It's like taking like your drunk uncle to your boss's party, you know?
What's really telling is Trump's vocabulary during these rants. The man who claims to know all the best words apparently only knows about 7 of them when he's angry. His insult arsenal consists almost entirely of failing, nasty, and low ratings, recycled more often than the paper at Trump Tower. It's like watching someone try to win a spelling bee using only the letters L, O, and W. The funniest part? Trump's temper tantrum actually validated everything Sykes had just finished saying about him. He couldn't have proven her point more perfectly if he'd tried. She paints him as unstable and thin-skinned, and he responds by having a public meltdown. It's like someone being accused of having anger issues and responding by flipping over a table. Trump's obsession with Sykes' comments had the opposite effect of what he intended. Instead of diminishing her impact, he amplified it.
Yeah. I'm out there. People know. Trump annoys me. His whole family annoys me. Yeah. The whole kit caboodle.
Every furious post drew more attention to her original jokes. His rage was essentially a marketing campaign for Sykes' comedy. By morning, clips that might have reached thousands were reaching millions, all because the former president couldn't control his Twitter trigger finger. Perhaps even more interesting than Trump's meltdown was the deafening silence from his usual defenders. Fox News, which typically rushes to reframe his worst moments, aired nothing about the incident. His loyal media surrogates, normally quick to explain that what the president really meant was, were nowhere to be found. It was as if his inner circle collectively decided, you know what? We're sitting this one out. As Trump's digital tantrum reached its crescendo, he deployed his classic denial strategy. "Never even heard of Wanda Sykes," he posted, a claim immediately debunked by his own social media history, showing multiple past tweets about her. It's the political equivalent of a child with chocolate all over their face, insisting they never touch the cookie jar. Each all-caps rant served as free advertising for Sykes' comedy special. Each angry denial brought more viewers to the original clip. Each insult thrown reinforced the very characteristics Sykes had just finished mocking. It was a masterclass in how not to handle criticism, or as crisis management experts might call it, the Trump method: do exactly the wrong thing.
70 years old. Those are things that you teach kids. I'm teaching my 7-year-olds those things.
Right.
By sunrise, Trump had posted 17 times about a comedy segment he claimed not to care about. 17 posts about someone he insisted was irrelevant. 17 digital tantrums proving that nothing gets under his skin quite like being laughed at, especially by a successful black woman. As 17 furious posts lit up Trump's social media feed, another storm was brewing just down the gilded hallways of Mar-a-Lago. For the first time since her husband's political career began, Melania Trump's carefully maintained poker face completely shattered. The woman who'd perfected the art of smiling through scandals finally reached her breaking point, and it wasn't pretty. Sources close to Mar-a-Lago confirmed that Melania was actually in the room when Wanda's comedy segment aired on television. What began as an ordinary evening quickly devolved into what one staffer described as the presidential temper tantrum from hell. While Trump furiously hammered out his digital revenge, Melania's reaction reportedly shifted from her usual stoic silence to visible irritation. "You could actually see her eyes rolling this time," said one insider who witnessed the meltdown. "Usually she just freezes like she's mentally escaped to her happy place when he gets like this. But something about this time was different."
Reports say that Melania has been so reluctant to re-enter public life that the former president had to beg her to be seen in public with him.
Let's visualize this beautiful moment together. Imagine a split screen. On one side, Trump's red-faced fury as he types, "Wanda Sykes is a failing comedian with terrible ratings," in all caps. On the other side, Melania, perfectly coiffed as always, slowly lowering her face into her palm as the realization hits that she's married to a man who's proving a comedian's point about his maturity level in real time. According to multiple sources, Melania didn't just silently suffer through her husband's tantrum. She reportedly told staff she was tired of the same old routine every time Trump faced public criticism. The former model, who spent years perfecting the art of the blank stare, apparently couldn't maintain her composure during this particular episode.
As you can see, their table was roped off, but it's unclear if that was to keep people away or to prevent her from fleeing.
She told him responding only makes it worse, revealed one anonymous source familiar with the situation. But he never listens. Every time someone makes fun of him, he has to prove them right by acting exactly like they said he would. This wasn't the first crack in Melania's carefully constructed facade. Remember those iconic hand swats when Trump would reach for her fingers during public appearances? Or those moments when her smile would instantly collapse the second she thought cameras weren't watching? Turns out those weren't just random moments. They were glimpses of the frustration that finally boiled over during Trump's Wanda meltdown. Body language experts have analyzed Melania's public appearances for years, noting the subtle ways she distances herself from her husband. There's the infamous Melania swat, when she smacked away Trump's hand on a 2017 trip to Israel.
The thing that got an enormous amount of media attention had to do with Melania Trump, the First Lady, and some video. Was this an actual slap?
Then there's the Melania grimace, that split-second expression that flashes across her face whenever Trump says something particularly embarrassing in public. And who could forget the Melania stare, that 1,000-yard gaze that suggests she's mentally transported herself to a luxury spa far, far away. But this time, according to insiders, Melania didn't bother hiding her frustration behind a designer sunglasses shield.
Melania is not now, or hasn't recently taken part in her husband's political events. It's not comfortable for her.
As Trump's Twitter tirade intensified, she reportedly became more visibly annoyed, even speaking up in a way that stunned staff members who were accustomed to her silence. She actually said out loud that this was exactly what the comedian wanted him to do. One source explained. She told him he was just making Wanda Sykes more famous by responding, but he couldn't stop himself. The evening reportedly reached its breaking point when Trump's posts hit double digits. Sources claim Melania finally threw up her hands and retreated to a separate wing of Mar-a-Lago, informing staff that she needed space. One insider reported overhearing her mutter something in Slovenian that, when translated, apparently wasn't very complimentary toward her husband's impulse control. Could this be a turning point in the notoriously complicated Trump marriage? History suggests Melania will eventually return to her usual stance of silent support, but insiders wonder if something fundamental has shifted. After years of weathering her husband's public embarrassments with sphinx-like silence, perhaps even Melania Trump has limits to what she can tolerate.